3 divorces. At 48, Candace Hayes was invisible. The kind of woman men looked through, not at. The kind therapists whispered about at conferences. How can she counsel marriages when she can't keep her own? She'd stopped believing anyone would choose her. Stopped hoping. Then her phone rang. Unknown number. A billionaire's voice. Ms. Hayes, I've been watching your YouTube channel for 2 years. Every video. I'm launching a mental health platform, and I need you to lead it. Her hands went cold. Men like him didn't call women like her. Not for business. Not for anything. Why me? She whispered. His answer made her chest tighten. Because you know what doesn't work. And I'm tired of people who only know how to succeed. She agreed to meet him. She had no idea he was about to prove everything she believed about herself was wrong. Welcome to our channel, where we bring you emotional stories that stay with you. If you're new here, hit subscribe and the notification bell so you never miss a story. And if you're returning, thank you. Your support means everything. Now, stay until the end, drop a comment with your thoughts, and let's begin. The car was a Mercedes. Not a rideshare. An actual driver who opened her door and knew her name. Candace smoothed her green blazer. The one that made her feel professional, put together, like she knew what she was doing even when she didn't. The one she wore on camera. They drove to Buckhead. Past the restaurants where she used to go with husband number 2. Past the park where number 3 proposed. Atlanta at night looked different from the back of a car she didn't have to pay for. Like a city where other people lived lives that worked. The building was glass and steel. Penthouse level. The elevator opened directly into the apartment. Harrison Sullivan stood in the living room. 52, maybe. Salt and pepper hair. Athletic in that way men got when they had money for personal trainers and time for morning runs. White button down, sleeves rolled to his elbows. He looked like every husband who'd sat in her office and said, I want to save this, right before not saving it. Ms. Hayes. Thank you for coming. His handshake was firm. His apartment was too clean. No photos. No mess. Divorce clean or never married clean. You said you're not married. Correct. Engaged. Separated. Trying to win someone back. No. She set her bag down. Mr. Sullivan, I don't have time for games. What's this about? He gestured to the white sectional. She sat, and he sat across from her. Not next to her, she noticed. Respectful distance. I've been watching your YouTube channel for 2 years. Her stomach dropped. The channel. Love Truths with Dr. Hayes. 43,000 subscribers. Videos where she talked about attachment styles and communication patterns and why staying for the kids actually hurt the kids. She'd started it after divorce number 2, when her practice was slow and she needed to feel useful. You've been watching therapy content for 2 years. Every Tuesday and Friday. 5 signs you're the problem in your relationship. Why good people make bad partners. The myth of soulmates. He was quoting her titles. Heat crept up her neck. Mr. Sullivan. Harrison. Harrison. If you're about to tell me you think we're connected because you watch my free YouTube videos, I'm going to get back in that Mercedes. He laughed. Actually laughed. No. God, no. I'm terrible at this. He ran a hand through his hair. I'm launching a mental health streaming platform. Therapy. Wellness. Real professionals talking about real issues. Not influencers. Not life coaches. Licensed therapists who know what they're talking about. She'd heard of him. Tech guy. Sold his last company for hundreds of millions. Everyone said he was building something new. And you want me to... What? Be on it. I want you to be the lead relationship expert. Your own show. Full creative control. We launch in 6 months. The room was too quiet. She could hear the kitchen refrigerator humming. Why me? Because you don't lie. That video you did last month, why your marriage ending doesn't mean you failed. My assistant cried watching it. My COO sent it to his sister. You don't do the toxic positivity thing. You don't tell people what they want to hear. Candace folded her hands in her lap. She'd been here before. Men who wanted something. Men who made promises. What's the catch? There's a test period. 3 months. I need you to accompany me to 3 high-profile events as my relationship consultant. Show investors I'm serious about authenticity. Let them see the kind of expert we're bringing on. You want me to be arm candy. I want you to be exactly who you are on camera. Investors are nervous about the mental health space. They think it's all crystals and vision boards. I need them to see we have real professionals. People who've done the work. She studied him. The expensive watch. The view of the city behind him. The way he leaned forward when he talked, like he actually cared about her answer. I've been divorced 3 times, Harrison. I know. You know. You mentioned it. In your videos. You're honest about it. And you still want me representing your authentic mental health platform? The woman who can't keep a marriage together. His expression shifted. Something almost sad crossed his face. My parents were married 46 years. Miserable for 45 of them. Stayed together because that's what you did. My mother died 2 years after my father, and you know what she said to me the week before. He paused. She said, I wish I'd been braver. The refrigerator hummed. Somewhere below, a car horn echoed. The fact that you left 3 times tells me you know the difference between staying and settling. That's exactly what I need. Candace's throat felt tight. She made herself breathe. What are these events? Investor Gala next Friday. Tech Summit in 2 weeks. Final pitch meeting the week after that. Black tie. Business casual. Boardroom. You show up, you talk to people about the platform, you let them see what real expertise looks like. And if I say no, then I find someone else. But they won't be you. She looked at him. Really looked. At the gray in his hair that he didn't dye. At the lines around his eyes that meant he smiled or squinted or both. At the way he was sitting forward on the couch like her answer actually mattered. Her first husband told her she was too much. Too intense. Too in her feelings. Her second husband said she was too focused on other people's problems, not enough on his. Her third husband didn't say much at all before he left. And here was a man who'd watched 100 hours of her talking about why relationships fail, and he was offering her a platform anyway. I need to think about it. Of course. She stood. He stood too. The first event is next Friday. Black tie. 7 p.m. If you decide yes, I'll send details. She picked up her bag. The leather strap was worn where her thumb always rubbed it. She'd bought it after divorce number 3. A gift to herself for surviving. Harrison. Yes. Why does a tech billionaire need a relationship expert on staff? You building a therapy app? No. He walked her to the elevator. I'm building something that might actually help people. And I'm tired of watching good information get buried under garbage. The elevator doors opened. I've failed at 3 marriages, she said. You sure you want that representing your brand? He pressed the button for the lobby. You didn't fail, Candace. You refused to stay in something that wasn't working. That's the whole point. The doors closed between them. In the car, she stared at her phone. Pulled up her channel. The latest video had 42,000 views. Comments from women saying, I needed this and you saved me, and I wish I'd heard this 20 years ago. She'd been telling people for 5 years that leaving a bad marriage wasn't failure. Maybe it was time to believe it herself. Friday came too fast. Candace stood in her bedroom, staring at 3 dresses. All black. All safe. The gala was in 2 hours and she didn't know what she was doing. Her sister Denise called at 5:15. You're going where? An investor gala. For work. Candace. Baby. You don't do galas. I'm considering a consulting contract. It's professional. Is he fine? Denise. I'm just saying. 3 divorces and now you're going to galas? You better be getting paid. Candace hung up. Put on the safest dress. Black sheath, Knee length, nothing special. She was a consultant. Professional. Invisible was good tonight. The car picked her up at 6:45. The venue was downtown. Hotel ballroom. Chandeliers and men in tuxedos and women in gowns that cost more than her mortgage. She walked in and immediately felt wrong. Too plain. Too old. Too much. Then she saw Harrison. He was talking to a group near the bar. Tuxedo. Clean-shaven. He looked up, saw her, and his face did something. Relief, maybe. Or something else. He crossed the room. You came. I'm here professionally. Right. Of course. But he was smiling. Come meet some people. He introduced her to investors. Tech guys. Venture capital. She shook hands and explained the platform. Mental health content from licensed professionals. Accessible pricing, no insurance barriers. They nodded. Asked questions. She answered. And then a woman in red approached. Harrison. He went still. Just for a second. Vanessa. The woman was 50 maybe. Blonde. Beautiful in that maintained way that took work and money. She looked at Candace the way the waiter had looked past her. And you are? Candace Hayes. I'm consulting on Harrison's new platform. Consulting. Vanessa smiled. It didn't reach her eyes. Harrison, can I borrow you? He glanced at Candace. She nodded. Professional. They walked away. Candace stood alone near the bar. Around her, couples laughed. Groups formed and reformed. She checked her phone. Nothing. A man in his 60s appeared beside her. Investor from earlier. So you're the relationship expert. That's right. How many marriages you been in? Her chest tightened. I'm sorry. Just seems funny. Relationship expert. You married? No. Divorced. The bartender was watching. 2 women nearby had turned to listen. 3 times, Candace said. His eyebrows went up. 3 times. And you're giving relationship advice. Because I know what doesn't work. Or maybe you're the problem. The words landed like ice water. Candace set down her untouched wine. Excuse me. She walked to the bathroom. Locked herself in a stall. Breathed. You're the problem. You're the problem. You're the... Her phone buzzed. Harrison, where are you? She didn't answer. Waited 5 minutes. Fixed her face in the mirror. Walked back out. He was standing near the entrance, scanning the room. Saw her. Came over. What happened? Nothing. I'm fine. Candace. One of your investors asked how many times I've been divorced. Then suggested maybe I'm the problem. She smiled. Professional. It's fine. I'm used to it. His jaw tightened. Who? Doesn't matter. It does. Harrison. I'm a 48-year-old woman with 3 divorces. This is what happens. I knew that coming in. He looked at her for a long moment. Then he took her hand, actually took her hand, and led her through the crowd. People turned to watch. He didn't seem to care. They ended up on a balcony. City lights below. Cool air. That woman. Vanessa. My ex-wife. Candace's stomach dropped. Harrison. Divorced 6 years. She remarried. Has 2 kids now. We're civil. What did she say to you? He leaned against the railing. She said you're the 3rd divorce expert I've paraded around this year. That this won't last. That I'm trying to fix myself by hiring people to fix other people. Candace's laugh came out bitter. Is she right? About which part? Any of it. He turned to look at her. The balcony lights caught the silver in his hair. I've watched your channel for 2 years because you're the only person who talks about relationships like they're actually hard. Like failing at them doesn't make you garbage. Like trying again isn't pathetic. He paused. You're not the 3rd expert. You're the only one I've asked. Why? Because everyone else wants to sell hope. You sell honesty. And I'm tired of buying hope that doesn't work. A couple walked onto the balcony, laughing. Saw them. Went back inside. Candace's heels hurt. Her dress felt too tight. She wanted to go home. I don't think I can do this, Harrison. The events. Any of it. I thought I could. But that man was right. Who am I to tell people about relationships? I've failed at every single one. You left relationships that weren't working. That's not the same thing. It feels the same. He was quiet for a moment. Then, my marriage to Vanessa failed because I worked 80-hour weeks and thought providing was the same as being present. It took me 4 years of therapy to figure that out. You think that makes me garbage? Of course not. Then why do you think it makes you garbage? She didn't have an answer. Come back inside, he said. Stay 30 more minutes. If you still want to leave, I'll have the car take you home. No pressure. No contract. She looked at him. At this man who'd hired a car and put her in a room with investors and didn't flinch when she said she'd been divorced 3 times. 30 minutes. They went back in. He stayed close, not hovering, but present. When someone asked about the platform, he deferred to her. Let her talk. When the investor who'd questioned her walked past, Harrison stepped in front of Candace and said something she couldn't hear, but the man's face went red. At 10:30, Harrison walked her to the car. Think about it, he said. You don't have to decide tonight. But she already knew her answer. When's the next event? He smiled. Tech Summit. 2 weeks. Business casual. Send me the details. She got in the car. Watched him standing on the curb as they pulled away. Her phone buzzed. Denise, so? Candace typed back. I think I just agreed to something stupid. Denise. Good. You need stupid. Maybe she did. Quick pause. If you're feeling this story, hype it so others can find it. Comment where you're watching from. Now back to the story. The Tech Summit was in a hotel conference center. Less formal than the gala. Business casual meant Candace could wear slacks and a cream blouse and actually breathe. Harrison met her in the lobby at 8:45 a.m. Jeans. Navy blazer. He looked tired. You good? She asked. Didn't sleep much. Investor calls from London. You don't have to do this today. I can handle it. He shook his head. I want to be here. The summit was panels and networking sessions. Tech startups pitching ideas. Investors circling like sharks. Harrison introduced her to everyone. This is Dr. Candace Hayes. She's leading our relationship content. Not consultant. Lead expert. By lunch, she'd talked to 20 people about attachment theory and couples communication and why therapy shouldn't cost $300 an hour. Her voice was getting hoarse. Harrison brought her water. You're good at this. Talking. Caring. People can tell you actually care. They sat in the back of a presentation about AI mental health tools. The speaker talked about algorithms and data patterns. Harrison leaned over, whispered, This is exactly what I don't want. Robots pretending to understand people. Candace whispered back, Some people might prefer robots. Robots don't judge. Neither do you. She looked at him. You don't know that. I've watched 100 of your videos. You're tough, but you're not cruel. There's a difference. The speaker droned on. Candace felt hyper-aware of Harrison's proximity. The way he smelled like coffee and something cedar. The way his knee was 3 inches from hers. She made herself focus on the presentation. Over the next few weeks, they fell into a pattern. Harrison would text her articles about mental health startups. She'd respond with analysis. What worked, what didn't, what was exploitative. He'd send voice memos at midnight when he couldn't sleep, thinking out loud about platform features. She'd wake up to 7-minute rambles about user interface and content moderation and whether they should include a crisis hotline. She started responding with her own voice memos. Thoughts about how to structure content. Ideas for topics nobody else was covering. Questions about whether his investors would actually fund something that prioritized help over profit. 3 weeks after the gala, he called at 2 a.m. Did I wake you? She'd been editing a video. No. What's wrong? Nothing. He paused. I wanted to hear your opinion on something. At 2 a.m. Sorry. I can call tomorrow. Harrison. What is it? He was quiet for a moment. Then, why does everyone want to monetize pain? She set down her laptop, curled up on her couch. What do you mean? Every investor I talk to wants to know how we're going to scale. How many subscribers? How much we can charge? And I get it, it's a business. But when did we decide suffering had to be profitable? His voice sounded raw. Real. What happened? Had dinner with an investor tonight. He asked if we'd considered ads. Targeted ads. Based on user data. So someone searching for depression content gets served. What? Antidepressants? Retreats? It's predatory. So don't do it. Then how do we fund it? Candace pulled her blanket tighter. Outside, Atlanta hummed. Streetlights. Distant sirens. Harrison. Why are you really building this? Silence. Long enough she thought he'd hung up. Then, my sister. You have a sister? Had. Emma. She died 8 years ago. Overdose. His voice cracked. She'd been in therapy. Tried 3 different therapists. None of them were covered by insurance. She was paying out of pocket. $400 a session. She had to choose between therapy and rent. Candace closed her eyes. She stopped going. Told everyone she was fine. 6 months later she was dead. Harrison. I'm so sorry. Everyone said she should have asked for help. Should have told someone. But she did. She tried. The system failed her. He exhaled. So yeah. I want to build something that doesn't fail people. Even if it means pissing off investors. Candace sat with that. With the weight of what he'd just given her. Your sister would be proud of you. You didn't know her. No. But I know you're trying to build something that would have saved her. That counts. Another long silence. Candace. Yeah. Thank you. For answering. Any time. She meant it. The second event was a week later. Dinner with potential board members. Upscale restaurant. Candace wore burgundy this time. Something with color. Harrison's eyes widened when he saw her. You look professional. I was going to say beautiful, but professional works too. Heat crept up her neck. She made herself laugh it off. Smooth. But the way he was looking at her didn't feel smooth. It felt real. Dinner was 8 people. Investors. Board candidates. Harrison CFO. Candace sat between Harrison and a woman named Patricia who ran a healthcare nonprofit. The conversation flowed. Platform strategy. Launch timeline. Content moderation policies. Candace contributed when asked, stayed quiet when not. Professional. Then Patricia turned to her. Dr. Hayes. How did you get into relationship therapy? Candace set down her fork. I was always interested in why people stay in situations that hurt them. Took a lot of therapy myself to figure out I was asking the wrong question. What's the right question? What are we so afraid of that staying feels safer than leaving? Patricia nodded slowly. That's profound. That's expensive therapy talking. Everyone laughed. But Harrison was watching her with that look again. The one that made her feel seen. After dessert, Patricia pulled Candace aside. Can I be honest with you? Of course. When Harrison told us he wanted a relationship therapist on the platform, some of us were skeptical. It felt gimmicky. Patricia paused. But you're the real deal. I can tell. Thank you. I also want to warn you. Harrison's ex-wife is friendly with one of our board members. She's been vocal about his recent choices. Candace's stomach tightened. What do you mean? She thinks he's going through something. That this platform is a crisis response, not a business plan. And she's been mentioning that he's been seen with different women. Women who work in therapy or wellness or Patricia trailed off. I'm not saying I agree with her. I'm saying be careful. People talk. Harrison and I are colleagues. I know. But not everyone will see it that way. In the car afterward, Candace stared out the window. Harrison sat beside her. You're quiet. Patricia told me Vanessa's been talking. About what? About you. Going through something. Making questionable choices. She looked at him. Am I a questionable choice? No. Harrison. Vanessa thinks everything I do is a crisis. I could buy a coffee shop and she'd say I'm having a breakdown. He loosened his tie. She's not wrong that Emma's death changed me. But building this platform isn't me falling apart. It's me trying to do something that matters. And the women. What women? She's been saying you've been seen with different women. Therapists. Wellness people. Harrison laughed. Sharp. Bitter. I've had 3 meetings with potential platform experts. All women. All professionals. Vanessa turned it into a pattern. He looked at Candace. You're not a pattern. You're a person I respect who happens to be excellent at her job. The car stopped at a red light. Streetlights reflected off rain-slicked pavement. Do you ever regret it? Candace asked. Divorcing her. Any of it. No. I regret not doing it sooner. He turned to face her fully. What about you? Regrets. She thought about husband number 1. The way he'd said she was too much. Number 2. The infidelity. Number 3. The silent months before he left. I regret believing them when they said I was the problem. You weren't. How do you know? Because problems don't build YouTube channels that help thousands of people. Problems don't show up to investor dinners and make board members reconsider their whole perspective. He paused. You're not a problem, Candace. You're someone who refused to settle. The light turned green. The car moved forward. Candace's chest felt tight. In a good way. In a terrifying way. Harrison. Yeah. This is getting complicated. I know. We should probably keep it professional. Probably. Neither of them moved. The car pulled up to her building. Harrison walked her to the entrance. Final event is in 3 days. Board pitch meeting. You ready? As ready as I'll be. He smiled. You'll be great. She went inside. Took the elevator to her floor. Let herself into her apartment. It was quiet. Too quiet. Her phone buzzed. Harrison. Thank you for tonight. For listening. For being honest. She typed back. That's what therapists do. Harrison, you're not my therapist. Candace stared at the text. Her thumb hovered over the keyboard. Then what am I? She wanted to ask. Instead she wrote, get some sleep. Big week ahead. Harrison, you too. She set her phone down. Looked around her apartment. At the empty couch where she'd sat on 3 wedding anniversaries with 3 different men. At the bookshelf full of relationship theory and attachment research and books about why love wasn't enough. She'd spent 20 years telling people how to fix their relationships. Maybe it was time to figure out how to start one. The next morning, Candace's sister called during breakfast. So when do I get to meet him? Denise. It's not like that. You've been glowing for 3 weeks. Don't tell me it's not like that. He's a client. He's a fine-ass billionaire who looks at you like you hung the moon. Candace, baby. You're allowed to be happy. I've been married 3 times. And? You think that means you're done? You're 48, not 88. Candace stirred her coffee. What if I mess it up? Then you mess it up. But what if you don't? After they hung up, Candace pulled up Harrison's contact. Their text thread was pages long. Midnight thoughts and article links and voice memos about platform features and why people stay in bad relationships and what his sister would think and whether hope was something you could package without ruining it. It looked like a friendship. It felt like something else. Her phone rang. Unknown number. This is Candace. Dr. Hayes. This is Simone Park. I write for Tech Today. Candace's stomach dropped. How can I help you? I'm writing a piece about Harrison Sullivan's new platform. I understand you're consulting. I'm leading relationship content, yes. And you've been accompanying him to events, investor meetings, dinners. As part of the platform development, yes. Right. And you've been divorced 3 times. The coffee turned bitter in her mouth. That's public information. It is. I'm just wondering how someone with 3 failed marriages ended up as the face of relationship expertise for a mental health platform. Seems ironic. Candace's hand tightened on her mug. Failed marriages don't disqualify someone from understanding relationships. If anything, they provide perspective. Perspective. Interesting. Papers rustled. I also spoke with Vanessa Sullivan, Harrison's ex-wife. She had some thoughts about his recent associations. Ms. Park, if you're writing a hit piece, just say so. I'm writing about whether this platform is legitimate or if it's a billionaire's midlife crisis funded by venture capital and fronted by someone whose personal life contradicts their professional advice. Candace set down her mug. Carefully. My personal life is exactly why I'm qualified. I know what doesn't work. I know what red flags look like. I know how to leave when staying would destroy you. Her voice was steady, cold. And if you think 3 divorces make me a failure, that says more about your values than mine. She hung up. Her hands were shaking. The article would run. People would read it. They'd say she was a fraud. That Harrison was making a mistake. That she was exactly what everyone always said. Too much, too broken, too failed. Her phone buzzed. Harrison, are you okay? How did he know? Candace. Journalist called. Hit piece incoming. Harrison, I'll handle it. Candace. You can't handle what people think. Harrison, watch me. The article dropped Tuesday morning. Silicon Valley's latest vanity project. Billionaire's mental health platform fronted by 3-time divorcee. Candace read it over coffee. Her hands steady now. Numb. Harrison Sullivan, 52, tech mogul and founder of the upcoming Wellstream platform, has raised eyebrows with his choice of lead relationship expert. Dr. Candace Hayes, a marriage therapist whose own marital history reads like a cautionary tale. Hayes, 48, has been divorced 3 times, a fact she discusses openly on her YouTube channel, which boasts a modest 43,000 subscribers. Sources close to Sullivan suggest the platform may be less about innovation and more about processing his 2019 divorce from Vanessa Sullivan, with whom he shares no children. He's always been reactive, says a former colleague who requested anonymity. This feels like an expensive therapy session disguised as a startup. When asked about Hayes' qualifications, given her personal track record, Sullivan's team responded, Dr. Hayes brings invaluable real-world experience to relationship content. Real-world experience, indeed. Candace set down her phone, stared at her coffee. The apartment was too quiet. Her phone exploded. Text from her assistant. Clients are calling. Some asking if you're still practicing. Text from Denise. I'm coming over. Text from a colleague. Saw the article. You okay? And Harrison, don't read it. She typed back. Too late. Harrison, where are you? Candace. Home. Harrison. Stay there. I'm coming. She almost said no. Almost told him it wasn't necessary. But the truth was her hands were shaking again and the walls felt too close and she didn't want to be alone. 20 minutes later, her buzzer rang. Harrison stood in her doorway with coffee and bagels from the place on the corner. He looked rumpled. Angry. I'm going to sue them. Don't. Candace. If you sue, it becomes a bigger story. If we ignore it, it dies in a news cycle. She took the coffee. I've been through worse. He followed her inside. Looked around at her apartment. The bookshelves full of therapy texts and romance novels she didn't talk about. The framed photos of her and Denise. The couch where she recorded her videos. This is where you film. Yeah. He sat down on the couch. patted the cushion next to him. She sat. "I'm sorry," he said. "For what?" "For dragging you into this. For putting you in the spotlight. For not." "Harrison. Stop." She turned to face him. "I'm a therapist with a YouTube channel. I knew what I was signing up for. People judge. That's what they do. You don't deserve it. Maybe not. But it doesn't change anything." He looked at her for a long moment. Then, "The board meeting is in 2 days." "I know. If you want out, I understand. This article is going to make things harder. Investors are going to ask questions." Candace thought about the waiter who looked through her, the investor who called her the problem, the journalist who turned her life into a punchline. Then she thought about Harrison at 2 a.m., talking about his sister, about the women who'd emailed her after watching her videos, about the platform that might actually help people. "I'm not out." "You're sure?" "I'm sure." Relief washed over his face. "Okay. Good. Because I have a plan." "What kind of plan?" "We lean into it. At the board meeting, we address the article head-on. We don't apologize. We don't explain. We own it. Own that I've been divorced 3 times. Own that you know what you're talking about because you've lived it. Not despite it." He leaned forward. "Candace, the article is trying to make you look like a failure. But what if we reframe it? What if your story is exactly why people will trust you?" She wanted to believe him. God, she wanted to. What if they don't? Then we find different investors. "But I'm not building this without you." Her throat felt tight. "Why?" "Why what?" "Why me? You could find someone with a perfect marriage. Someone without baggage. Someone who doesn't come with articles calling them a cautionary tale." Harrison reached out, took her hand. His palm was warm. "Because perfect people don't understand struggle. And this platform isn't for perfect people. It's for everyone else." She looked down at their hands. Intertwined. When had that happened? "Harrison. I know. This is complicated." "I know that too." Neither of them let go. Denise arrived an hour later with wine and takeout. "Move over, Billionaire. Sister time." Harrison stood. "I should go anyway." "You can stay," Candace said. "If you want." He looked between them. "You sure?" Denise waved him back down. "Stay. I want to interrogate you." They ate moose pork and spring rolls on Candace's coffee table. Denise asked Harrison about the platform, about investors, about why a tech guy cared about therapy. He told her about Emma, about the system that failed her, about wanting to build something that wouldn't fail other people. Denise was quiet for a moment. Then, "My daughter went through something last year. Depression. Couldn't afford therapy on her insurance. Ended up in crisis before we found someone." She looked at Harrison. "So yeah, build your platform. And don't let some hack journalist stop you." After dinner, Harrison helped clean up. Denise pulled Candace into the kitchen. "I like him." "Denise. I'm just saying. He looks at you like you're the smartest person in the room. When's the last time a man looked at you like that?" Candace glanced at the living room. Harrison was stacking takeout containers, moving carefully around her space like he belonged there. "It's professional." Keep telling yourself that." The next 2 days were a blur. Harrison sent her the board presentation. She refined the relationship content strategy. They had 3 phone calls and 1 video meeting where they practiced Q&A. What if they ask about the article? Candace asked. "Let me handle it." Harrison. "Trust me." Wednesday night, her phone rang at 11 p.m. Harrison. "Can't sleep." "No." He sounded exhausted. "I keep thinking about tomorrow. About how much is riding on this." "You've done the work. The platform is solid." "I know. But what if it's not enough?" She settled into her couch. Outside, Atlanta hummed. Distant traffic. A siren somewhere. Tell me about Emma. Silence. Then, what do you want to know? What was she like? He exhaled. Funny. She was so funny. She'd do these impressions of our mom. These perfect, devastating impressions. She wanted to be a comedian. Took improv classes. Performed at open mics. She sounds amazing. She was. And then she just wasn't. Depression doesn't care how funny you are. Candace closed her eyes. I'm sorry you lost her. Me too. Pause. Candace. Yeah. Thank you. For asking about her. Most people don't. Most people are uncomfortable with grief. Are you? No. Grief is just love with nowhere to go. There's nothing uncomfortable about that. Long silence. Where do you come up with this stuff? Expensive therapy. Remember. He laughed. Soft. Real. Get some sleep, she said. Tomorrow's a big day. For both of us. After they hung up, Candace pulled up the article again. Read it one more time. Let the words settle. 3-time divorcee. Failed marriages. Cautionary tale. She thought about her first husband. How young they'd been. How much she'd tried to be smaller for him. Her second husband. The betrayal. The humiliation. Her third. The silence. The slow death of something that might have worked if either of them had fought for it. 3 marriages. 3 endings. 3 times she'd chosen herself over staying in something broken. Maybe that wasn't failure. Maybe that was the whole point. The board meeting was at 2 p.m. in Harrison's downtown office. Candace wore her green blazer. The one that made her feel capable. She walked into the conference room and 7 people looked up. Harrison stood at the head of the table. Everyone, this is Dr. Candace Hayes. She shook hands. Smiled. Professional. They sat. Harrison pulled up the presentation. For 30 minutes, he walked through platform strategy, revenue projections, user acquisition, content moderation, launch timeline. The board asked questions. He answered. Then a man in his 60s raised his hand. Board chair from his position. Harrison. I want to address the elephant in the room. Here it comes. The article about Dr. Hayes has raised concerns among some investors. Concerns about optics. About whether someone with her personal history can effectively represent relationship expertise. Candace's chest tightened. She made herself breathe. Harrison set down his remote. I'm glad you brought that up, David. Because I want to address it directly. He looked at Candace. Dr. Hayes has been divorced 3 times. She's open about it. She talks about it on her YouTube channel. She doesn't hide it. Silence. And that's exactly why she's perfect for this platform. David frowned. I'm not sure I follow. Our target audience isn't people with perfect lives. It's people who are struggling. People who've tried therapy and couldn't afford it. People who've failed at relationships and think they're beyond help. Harrison pulled up a slide. Dr. Hayes has a 43,000 subscriber YouTube channel. Modest numbers, right? But look at the engagement. The slide showed comments. Hundreds of them. This video saved my life. I needed to hear this today. You're the only therapist who gets it. Harrison continued. These are people who feel seen by Dr. Hayes because she's been where they are. She's not some ivory tower expert preaching from a place of perfection. She's someone who knows what failure feels like. And that's what makes her credible. Patricia, the nonprofit director, spoke up. I agree. Authenticity matters more than perfection. But another board member, a woman in her 40s, shook her head. With all due respect, 3 divorces suggests a pattern. How do we know Dr. Hayes' advice is sound if she can't maintain a relationship herself? The room went silent. Candace felt everyone looking at her. Waiting. She could stay quiet. Let Harrison handle it. Play it safe. Or she could do what she told her clients to do. Speak her truth. She leaned forward. You're right. 3 divorces is a pattern. Want to know what the pattern is? The woman nodded. I married men who made me feel small. And when I realized I was disappearing, I left. That's the pattern. Candace's voice was steady, clear. My first husband told me I was too emotional, too intense. I spent 3 years trying to be quieter, calmer, less. And then I realized I didn't want to be less. I wanted to be with someone who could handle all of me. She paused. No one spoke. My second husband cheated. For 6 months. And when I found out, everyone told me to forgive him. Work on it. Marriages are hard. So I tried. For a year I tried. Until I realized I was killing myself to save something already dead. Her hands were clasped on the table. Steady. My third husband was a good man. Kind. Responsible. We had nothing to fight about because we had nothing to talk about. We were roommates pretending to be married. And when I finally said I wanted more, he said he was happy with what we had. So I left. She looked at each board member. 3 marriages. 3 divorces. 3 times I chose myself over settling. And you're right, that's a pattern. It's the pattern I teach my clients. It's the pattern that's missing from most relationship advice. Because most people are so terrified of failing that they stay in situations that destroy them slowly. The woman who'd questioned her was silent. Candace continued. This platform is for people who've failed. People who've tried and fallen short and don't know if they can try again. If you want someone perfect to lead that, you're looking in the wrong place. But if you want someone who knows what rock bottom looks like and can help people climb out, then I'm exactly who you need. The room was quiet. Then Patricia started clapping. David smiled. Well, that settles that. After the meeting, Harrison walked her to her car. You were incredible. I overshared. No. You were honest. That's different. He stopped at her car door. They approved the budget. Full funding. We launch in 3 months. Harrison. That's amazing. We did it. You and me. He was standing close. Too close. Close enough she could see the gray in his eyes. Harrison. I know. Professional. We should keep it that way. Definitely. But neither of them moved. His phone buzzed. He glanced at it. Frowned. It's Vanessa. She wants to meet for coffee. Candace's stomach dropped. Why? She says she needs to talk to me about something important. He looked at Candace. I should probably see what she wants. Yeah, of course. He left. Candace sat in her car and stared at the steering wheel. They'd won. The board approved the platform. Everything was moving forward. So why did she feel like something was about to fall apart? Harrison met Vanessa at a coffee shop in Midtown. Neutral territory. She was already there when he arrived, sitting by the window in a white blazer that probably cost more than most people's rent. Harrison. Thank you for coming. He sat down. What's this about? She stirred her latte. I saw the board approved your platform. Word travels fast. I'm happy for you. Really? She paused. But I'm concerned. About what? About her. Dr. Hayes. Harrison's jaw tightened. Vanessa. Just hear me out. Please. She leaned forward. I know we're not together anymore. I know you've moved on. But I still care about you. And I'm worried you're making a mistake. Candace is the best decision I've made in years. Is she? Or is she what you need her to be right now? Vanessa's voice was soft. Concerned. Harrison. You hired a relationship therapist 6 months after your sister's anniversary. A therapist who talks about grief and loss and choosing yourself. Don't you think there's a pattern there? What are you saying? I'm saying you're trying to fix what happened to Emma by building this platform. And you've attached yourself to someone who makes you feel like you're helping people. But what happens when the platform launches? When you don't need her validation anymore? Harrison stood up. I'm not doing this. I talked to David. From your board. Vanessa didn't look away. He's worried too. He thinks Dr. Hayes is a liability. 3 divorces. Harrison. At her age. That doesn't concern you. What concerns me is my ex-wife meddling in my business. I'm not meddling. I'm trying to protect you from making another impulsive decision. Like the time you bought that restaurant. Or when you invested in your college roommate's startup. You have a pattern of rescuing people. Harrison. And it always ends badly. He left without another word. Candace was in her office when Harrison texted. Harrison. Can I come over? Candace. Is everything okay? Harrison. Need to talk. He arrived 30 minutes later. Looked shaken. What happened? He sat on her couch. Ran his hands through his hair. Vanessa thinks I'm using you to process Emma's death. Candace's chest went cold. What? She says I have a pattern of rescuing people. That I hired you because you make me feel like I'm fixing something. And that once the platform launches, I won't need you anymore. The words hung in the air. Candace sat down slowly. Do you think that's true? No. Of course not. Harrison. Candace, I hired you because you're brilliant. Because your work matters. Because I remind you of your sister? He went still. Do I? She pressed. Do I remind you of someone who needed help and didn't get it? That's not. Because if that's what this is, we need to stop now. I'm not a project. I'm not something you fix to make yourself feel better about what you couldn't fix before. You think that's what you are to me? I don't know what I am to you. That's the problem. Harrison stood. Paced to the window. Emma was funny. Outgoing. She lit up every room she walked into. You're not like her at all. Then why? Because you're like me. He turned around. You're someone who knows what it's like to try and fail and try again anyway. You're someone who doesn't give up even when everyone tells you you're wrong. That's not Emma. That's you. Candace's throat felt tight. Vanessa also told me David is worried. That the board thinks I'm a liability. She's lying. Is she? Because she seemed pretty certain. And she said some investors are reconsidering after that article. Harrison crossed back to the couch. Sat beside her. Candace. Look at me. She did. I don't care what Vanessa thinks. I don't care what David thinks. I care what you think. I think this is getting too complicated. It was always complicated. No. Before it was professional. Now it's... She trailed off. Now it's what? She stood up. Needed space. I can't do this, Harrison. Can't do what? This. Us. Whatever this is. She gestured between them. I'm 48 years old. I've been divorced 3 times. I have a YouTube channel with 43,000 subscribers and a private practice that barely pays my mortgage. You're a billionaire building a platform that could help millions of people. We're not. We're not in the same league. And pretending we are is just going to end with me hurt and you embarrassed and the platform damaged because people will say exactly what Vanessa's saying. That you're having a midlife crisis. That I'm taking advantage. That this whole thing is. Stop. Harrison stood. You're doing it again. Doing what? Making yourself small. Telling yourself you're not enough. Deciding how this ends before it even starts. I'm being realistic. You're being scared. The words hit like cold water. You don't know me well enough to say that. I've watched 100 hours of you talking about why people stay in situations that hurt them. About why we choose what's familiar over what's right. About how fear masquerades as wisdom. He stepped closer. You're scared. And you're doing what you always do. Leaving before you can be left. That's not fair. It's true. Candace felt tears burning. She refused to let them fall. You should go. Candace. Please. Just go. He looked at her for a long moment. Then he walked to the door. He paused. Hand on the knob. For what it's worth, I wasn't rescuing you. You were rescuing me. The door closed behind him. Candace stood in her empty apartment. Silence pressing in. Her phone buzzed. Denise. Dinner Sunday? She couldn't answer. Couldn't think. She sat on her couch. The same couch where she filmed videos about leaving bad situations. About choosing yourself. About not settling. And she just pushed away the first man in years who'd made her feel like she wasn't too much. By Friday, the investors were pulling out. Harrison's CFO called an emergency meeting. 4 of the 7 board-approved investors had reconsidered. They cited concerns about brand integrity and questions about leadership judgment. Harrison knew exactly what that meant. Vanessa had been busy. David, the board chair, was frank. Harrison, I supported you at the board meeting. But these investors have legitimate concerns. The article about Dr. Hayes opened a door. And now people are questioning whether this platform is a sound business decision or a personal crusade. It's both. That's the problem. Harrison's lead attorney spoke up. We need to consider a PR strategy. Perhaps put some distance between you and Dr. Hayes. At least publicly. No. Harrison. I said no. Candace Hayes is the lead relationship expert. That doesn't change. His CFO sighed. Then we need to find new investors. And that pushes our timeline back 6 months. Maybe more. Harrison looked around the conference room. At the people he'd hired to build something that mattered. At the platform that was supposed to help people like Emma. All of it falling apart because his ex-wife couldn't let go. And because he'd pushed Candace too hard, too fast. Candace spent the weekend avoiding her phone. Denise showed up anyway on Sunday with fried chicken and mac and cheese from their mama's recipe. You look terrible. Thanks. They ate on the couch. Candace pushed food around her plate. You want to tell me what happened? I ended things with Harrison. Things that didn't exist. Candace set down her fork. Things that were about to exist. And would have been a disaster. Why? Because I'm a 3-time divorcee with baggage and trust issues. And he's a billionaire still processing his sister's death. We're both broken, Denise. That's not a foundation. Denise was quiet for a moment. You remember when Terrence left me? Candace nodded. Denise's ex-husband had walked out 15 years ago. No warning. Just gone. I didn't date for 7 years. 7 years. Candace. You know why. You weren't ready. I was terrified. I kept telling myself I was being smart. Taking time. Healing. But really, I was just scared of being hurt again. Denise looked at her. And then I met Marcus. And he was patient and kind, and he didn't run when I told him about Terrence. And you know what I almost did. What? I almost pushed him away. Because I'd convinced myself that wanting something meant I'd lose it. That being happy was just setting myself up for pain. What changed? Marcus told me something. He said, I can't promise I won't hurt you. But I can promise I'll try not to. And that's all anyone can promise. Denise squeezed Candace's hand. Baby, you can't protect yourself from pain by avoiding love. You just end up alone. I don't know how to do this, Denise. I don't know how to be with someone and not lose myself. Then figure it out with someone who wants to figure it out too. After Denise left, Candace pulled up Harrison's contact. Their text thread was still there. All those midnight conversations. All those voice memos. She started typing. Deleted it. Started again. Finally, I'm sorry. She stared at the message. Didn't send it. Monday morning, Candace was in her office with a client when her assistant knocked. Dr. Hayes. There's someone here to see you. I have a session. She says it's urgent. Vanessa Sullivan. Candace's blood went cold. She wrapped up with her client, then stepped into the waiting room. Vanessa stood by the window. Pristine. Controlled. Ms. Sullivan. What are you doing here? I wanted to talk to you. Woman to woman. I don't think that's appropriate. Please. 5 minutes. Against her better judgment, Candace led her to the office, closed the door. Vanessa sat. I'm not here to cause trouble. Then why are you here? Because I know Harrison. And I know when he's about to make a mistake. Vanessa's voice was calm, measured. He does this. He finds someone who needs saving. He pours everything into them. And when reality hits, when the crisis is over, he moves on. He did it with his college roommate. With his father after the stroke. With me, honestly. I'm not someone who needs saving. Aren't you? 3 divorces. Struggling practice. Online articles calling you a cautionary tale. Vanessa leaned forward. Harrison made you feel seen. Made you feel valuable. And now you're in too deep to realize you're just another project. You don't know anything about us. I know he's already losing investors. I know the board is questioning his judgment. I know this platform is the only thing he cares about, and it's failing because he attached it to you. Vanessa stood. I'm not trying to be cruel. I'm trying to save you both from a mistake. If you care about Harrison, if you care about the platform, you'll step back. Let him find someone without your baggage. Get out. Dr. Hayes. Get out. Vanessa left. Candace sat at her desk. Hands shaking. Heart pounding. Everything Vanessa said was what Candace had already thought. The doubts already in her head. What if she was right? What if Candace was the problem? That night, Candace drafted her resignation email. Harrison. After careful consideration, I've decided to step back from the Wellstream platform. The recent press and investor concerns have made it clear that my involvement is creating obstacles rather than opportunities. You need someone without complications. Someone the investors can support without hesitation. This platform matters. It could help so many people. And I won't be the reason it fails. I'm sorry. Candace. Her finger hovered over send. 1 click. That's all it would take. 1 click, and she'd be doing what she always did. Leaving before she could be left. Her phone rang. Harrison. She didn't answer. He called again. Again. Finally she picked up. I'm stepping back from the platform. Silence. Then, no. Harrison. I know Vanessa came to see you. My assistant told me she was in your building. Candace closed her eyes. She's right. I'm the problem. The investors are pulling out because of me. The articles. The questions about my credibility. If I step back. If you step back, I shut down the platform. What? You heard me. You leave, I walk away from the whole thing. Harrison, you can't. I've already lost 4 investors. I've got board members questioning my judgment. My ex-wife is actively sabotaging us. And you know what? I don't care. Because I didn't build this for investors. I built it for Emma. For people like Emma. And you're the only person who understands that. I'm toxic to your business. You're the only thing keeping me sane. Her chest ached. Harrison. Candace. Please. Don't do this. Don't let Vanessa win. Don't let fear win. What if she's right? What if I'm just a project? What if? Come to my office. Tomorrow. 10 a.m. I want to show you something. Harrison. Please. 10 a.m. Then if you still want to quit, I won't stop you. She was quiet for a long moment. Okay. Thank you. After they hung up, Candace looked at the unsent email. Deleted it. Tomorrow. She'd decide tomorrow. Tuesday morning. 9:47 a.m. Candace stood outside Harrison's office building. Glass and steel reaching toward gray clouds. She'd been standing there for 10 minutes, trying to make herself go inside. Her phone buzzed. Denise. You got this. Candace took a breath. Walked through the revolving doors. The elevator ride to the 20th floor felt too fast. The receptionist smiled. Waved her through. Harrison's office was at the end of the hall. She knocked. "Come in." He sat at his desk, laptop open, coffee going cold beside him. He looked like he hadn't slept. When he saw her, relief flooded his face. "You came." "I said I would." He stood, gestured to the sitting area by the window. They sat on opposite ends of the couch. Professional distance. "I want to show you something." He pulled up his laptop, turned it toward her. The screen showed an email inbox. Hundreds of messages. These came in over the last 3 days. Since the article dropped. Candace scanned the subject lines. "Thank you for being honest. Your story helped me leave. 3 divorces doesn't mean failure." Finally, someone who gets it. Harrison clicked on one. Read aloud. "Dear Dr. Hayes, I'm 52 and divorced twice. I've spent the last 5 years thinking I'm broken. Then I read about you and your 3 divorces and how you still help people anyway. It made me realize leaving wasn't failure. It was survival. Thank you for being brave enough to exist publicly. You saved my life." He clicked another. "I'm a therapist. I've been divorced once. I don't talk about it because I'm afraid clients will think I'm not qualified. Seeing you own your story made me braver. Thank you." Another. "My mom is 49 and just finalized her 2nd divorce. She thinks her life is over. I sent her the article about you. She cried. Then she said maybe she's not done yet. Thank you." Candace's eyes burned. Harrison clicked through more. Dozens. Hundreds. This is what Vanessa and the investors don't understand. They think your divorces are a liability. But to the people we're trying to reach, you're proof that failure isn't final. Harrison. "I'm not done." He pulled up another screen. YouTube. Her channel. The subscriber count read 87,000. You had 43,000 subscribers last week. You've gained 44,000 in 3 days. Since the article. Your latest video has 200,000 views. Candace stared. "That's not possible. Check your channel." She pulled out her phone. Logged in. He was right. The comments were overwhelming. Found you from the article. Stayed for the truth. 3 divorces and still helping people. That's not failure, that's strength. This is what real expertise looks like. Harrison set down his laptop. You think you're the problem. But you're not. You're the solution. And the only person who can't see that is you. Candace's hands were shaking. The investors will come back or they won't. I'll find new ones. But I'm not building this platform without you. Why? Because I need you. The words hung between them. Harrison. Not for the platform. Not to process Emma's death. Not to fix something broken. He moved closer. I need you because when I'm with you, I remember why any of this matters. Because you make me want to build something real instead of something profitable. Because you're the first person in years who's made me feel like I'm not doing this alone. Tears spilled down her cheeks. I'm scared. I know. I don't know how to do this. How to be with someone without losing myself. Then we figure it out together. She looked at him. At this man who'd watched 100 hours of her videos. Who'd defended her to investors. Who'd threatened to shut down his whole platform if she left. What if I mess it up? Then we mess it up together. And we try again. She laughed. Wet. Broken. That's terrible advice. I learned it from this therapist I know. She's really smart. Has a YouTube channel. Candace reached for his hand. He took it. I'm sorry, she said. For pushing you away. For believing Vanessa. For almost quitting. Don't apologize. You were protecting yourself. I get it. I don't want to protect myself anymore. What do you want? She looked at their intertwined hands. I want to see where this goes. Even if it's terrifying. Harrison smiled. Terrifying works for me. But the universe wasn't done testing them. Wednesday afternoon, Candace's phone exploded. Harrison was trending on Twitter. She clicked the link. Her stomach dropped. Someone had leaked the investor calls. Audio recordings of Harrison defending her, arguing with board members, threatening to walk away if they forced her out. And the internet was divided. Half were calling him noble, supportive, a billionaire who actually valued women. The other half were calling it toxic, codependent, a man with a savior complex attaching himself to a damaged woman. The articles came fast. Tech billionaire's relationship with three-time divorcee raises questions. Is Harrison Sullivan's platform about mental health or his own therapy? Sources say Sullivan and Hayes are romantically involved. Professional boundaries blurred. Candace called Harrison. Did you see? I see it. What do we do? I'm handling it. Harrison, this is bad. They're saying we're together. That this whole platform is just. Let them say it. What? Candace. I'm done hiding. I'm done pretending this is only professional. If people want to make assumptions, let them. But the platform will be fine. Or it won't. But I'm not lying anymore. Her chest felt tight. What are you saying? I'm saying I'm going on record. Tonight. And I'm telling the truth. Harrison. Trust me. Please. He hung up. That evening, Harrison appeared on TechWatch Live, a streaming show with 2 million viewers. Industry leaders watched it. Investors. Journalists. Candace watched from her couch, heart in her throat. The host, a woman in her 40s named Jen Park, didn't waste time. Harrison, let's address the elephant in the room. Your relationship with Dr. Candace Hayes. Let's. Sources say you threatened to shut down Wellstream if she left the platform. True. True. Some are calling that inappropriate. A billionaire holding a woman's career hostage. Harrison leaned forward. That's not what happened. Dr. Hayes tried to resign because she believed, correctly, that her involvement was costing us investors. She was willing to sacrifice her role to save the platform. He paused. I told her that without her, there is no platform. Because she's not just an employee or a consultant. She's the reason this matters. You're romantically involved. We're becoming involved, yes. The host's eyebrows rose. The chat exploded. And you don't see a problem with that? The power dynamic. The professional implications. Of course I see them. We both do. But here's what people don't understand about Candace Hayes. Harrison looked directly at the camera. She's not someone I rescued. She's not a project. She's not broken. She's someone who's been through hell and came out the other side still believing people deserve help. Still showing up. Still trying. He shifted forward. I've been divorced once. Candace has been divorced 3 times. And you know what? She understands relationships better than anyone I've ever met. Because she knows what doesn't work. She knows what red flags look like. She knows when to stay and when to leave. And she's brave enough to talk about it publicly even when people call her a failure. The host was quiet. My sister died because she couldn't afford therapy. Because the mental health system is broken. I'm building Wellstream to fix that. And I chose Candace Hayes to lead relationship content because she's exactly who I would have wanted Emma to learn from. His voice cracked. Someone who's survived. Someone who's honest. Someone who doesn't pretend everything's fine when it's not. Silence. As for whether we're romantically involved, yes. We are. And if that costs me investors, so be it. But I won't pretend the most important person in my life is just a colleague. And I won't let her believe she's not enough because people are scared of imperfection. The host nodded slowly. That's quite a statement. It's the truth. The interview continued, but Candace couldn't hear it anymore. Her ears were ringing. Her phone buzzed. Denise. Girl. Then Patricia from the board. That took guts. Respect. Then her assistant. Your channel is blowing up. 120K subscribers. Then Harrison. Still breathing? She typed back. Barely. What did you just do? Harrison. Something I should have done weeks ago. The fallout was immediate. 2 more investors pulled out. But 3 new ones called within hours, wanting in. Tech blogs were divided. Twitter was chaos. But the emails kept coming. To Candace. To Harrison. To the Wellstream contact form. People saying they believed in the platform because of what Harrison said. People saying they'd subscribe because they wanted to learn from someone who'd failed and kept going. People saying they needed what Harrison and Candace were building. By Friday, Wellstream had its full funding. New investors. Better terms. And Candace's channel hit 150,000 subscribers. Saturday afternoon, Harrison showed up at Candace's door with Thai food and exhaustion written all over his face. You look terrible. Thanks. Can I come in? They ate on her couch. Pad Thai and spring rolls and mango sticky rice. He told her about the investor calls. The lawyers reviewing the interview for liability. The PR team trying to control the narrative. Any regrets? She asked. Only that I didn't do it sooner. She set down her food. Harrison. What are we doing? What do you mean? I mean, what is this? We're colleagues. We're maybe dating. You just went on national television and called me the most important person in your life. Is that a problem? It's terrifying. Good terrifying or bad terrifying. She thought about her 3 ex-husbands. About all the ways she'd made herself smaller. About all the time she'd left before she could be left. Good terrifying, she said quietly. Harrison smiled. Yeah. Yeah. She paused. But I need you to understand something. Okay. I'm going to mess this up sometimes. I'm going to get scared and push you away. I'm going to doubt whether I'm enough. Because that's what I do. That's the pattern. I know. And you need to know that if this ends, if we don't work out, I'm not going to disappear. I'm not going to quit the platform. We're going to have to figure out how to be professionals even if we're not. Whatever we are now. We will. You sound very confident. I'm not. But I'm willing to try anyway. She looked at him. At this man who'd defended her to investors. Who'd gone on television and told 2 million people she mattered. I haven't done this in a long time, she said. Done what? Believe someone when they said I was enough. Harrison set down his food. Moved closer. You're not just enough, Candace. You're everything. And then he kissed her. Soft. Careful. Like she was something precious. She kissed him back. Let herself fall into it. Into him. Into the terrifying possibility that maybe this time would be different. When they pulled apart, she was smiling. What? He asked. I'm just thinking about what my clients are going to say when I tell them I'm dating a client. I was never your client. Semantics. Important semantics. She laughed. Leaned her head against his shoulder. This is crazy. Probably. The investors are going to have opinions. Let them. Your ex-wife is going to lose her mind. Already has. Candace tilted her head up to look at him. You really threatened to shut down the entire platform if I left? I did. That was stupid. Completely. And kind of romantic. I was hoping you'd think so. She kissed him again. Longer this time. When her phone buzzed an hour later, she ignored it. Let the world wait. Let the investors and journalists and internet commentators say whatever they wanted. For the first time in years, Candace Hayes wasn't performing. Wasn't trying to be smaller or quieter or less. She was just being. And it was enough. 3 months later. The Wellstream platform launched on a Tuesday. Candace stood backstage at the launch event, smoothing her emerald green dress. The same color as the blazer she'd worn that first night in Harrison's apartment. Lucky color, she decided. Harrison appeared beside her. Tuxedo. Nervous energy. You ready? Are you? Terrified. Good. Me too. They walked on stage together. 500 people in the audience. Investors, press, mental health professionals, content creators. Every major tech blog was streaming live. Harrison spoke first. About Emma. About the broken mental health system. About building something that prioritized people over profit. Then he introduced Candace. She walked to the microphone. The crowd went quiet. When Harrison first asked me to be part of Wellstream, I almost said no. She paused. Because I've been divorced 3 times. Because I have a modest YouTube channel and a small private practice. Because I didn't think I was qualified to represent relationship expertise on a national platform. Someone in the audience shifted. And then I realized, that's exactly why I'm qualified. Because I know what failure looks like. I know what it feels like to try and fall short. To leave something you thought would last forever. To start over when everyone's watching. She looked out at the crowd. At faces she recognized from articles and investor meetings. At faces she didn't recognize but who'd emailed her after the interview. Wellstream isn't about perfection. It's about showing up anyway. It's about getting help from people who've been where you are. Who know that healing isn't linear. That growth is messy. That sometimes the bravest thing you can do is admit you need help. She clicked to the next slide. The Wellstream interface. Our relationship content doesn't promise happily ever after. It promises honesty. It promises practical tools. It promises you're not alone in struggling. As she spoke, she felt the shift. The audience leaning in. The cameras focusing. This was what Harrison had seen. What he'd believed in. When she finished, the applause was thunderous. The launch party was at a rooftop venue downtown. Champagne and catered food and a view of Atlanta stretching to the horizon. Candace stood by the railing, taking a moment alone. Dr. Hayes. She turned. Vanessa. Of course. Ms. Sullivan. Vanessa walked over. She looked different. Softer maybe. Or just tired. Congratulations. The platform looks impressive. Thank you. Awkward silence. I owe you an apology, Vanessa said. For the things I said. For trying to sabotage this. For. She trailed off. For being threatened by you. Candace blinked. Threatened. You made Harrison happy. In a way I never could. And instead of being glad for him, I tried to destroy it. Vanessa looked out at the city. I was wrong. And I'm sorry. Why are you telling me this? Because I've been in therapy. Real therapy. And my therapist asked me why I was so invested in Harrison's failure. Turns out I have some things to work on. She smiled weakly. So yeah, I'm sorry. You're good for him. And from what I saw tonight, you're good for a lot of people. Vanessa walked away before Candace could respond. Patricia appeared a moment later. Was that Vanessa Sullivan apologizing? I think so. Miracles do happen. Patricia raised her glass. To Wellstream. To honesty. To you and Harrison figuring it out. They clinked glasses. Can I ask you something? Candace said. Of course. Do you think this can work? A relationship and a business partnership. Patricia laughed. Honey, I've been married to my business partner for 23 years. It's messy and complicated and sometimes we want to murder each other. But it works because we chose it. Every day we choose it. She squeezed Candace's shoulder. You'll figure it out. Later, when the party was winding down, Harrison found Candace on the balcony. Hiding. Breathing. He stood beside her. They watched the city lights. We did it, he said. You did it. I just showed up. You did a lot more than show up. She leaned into him. What happens now? Now we run a platform. We create content. We argue about user interface. We probably fight about creative direction. Sounds terrible. Probably will be sometimes. She smiled. And us? What about us? What do we do about the fact that I'm falling in love with you and it's terrifying? Harrison went still. You're falling in love with me? Don't make a big deal about it. I'm absolutely making a big deal about it. He turned her to face him. Because I'm already there. Have been for weeks. That's fast. I've been watching you for 2 years, remember? I'm behind schedule if anything. She laughed. He kissed her. The city hummed below them. Candace. Yeah. I can't promise this won't be hard. I can't promise we won't mess it up. I know. But I can promise I'll try. Every day. I'll try. That's all anyone can promise. He smiled. Someone smart told me that once. She sounds wise. She is. She's also stubborn and scared and brave as hell. Keep talking. I like where this is going. He kissed her again. Longer this time. When they pulled apart, her phone was buzzing. She checked it. Denise. The live stream of the launch has 2 million views. Your channel just hit 300K subscribers. Also, I'm crying. Call me tomorrow. Candace showed Harrison. He grinned. 300,000 people want to learn from you. It's surreal. It's deserved. A voice called from inside. The team wanted a photo. Investors were asking questions. Harrison held out his hand. Ready. She took it. Ready. They walked back inside together. 6 months later. Wellstream had 500,000 subscribers. Candace's show, Real Talk with Dr. Hayes, was the most watched content on the platform. She'd hired 2 additional therapists to help with demand. Her private practice was thriving. Her YouTube channel had hit 500,000 subscribers. And she and Harrison were still figuring it out. They fought sometimes. About work-life balance. About whether her content should be behind a paywall or free. About whose turn it was to compromise. But they also laughed. Cooked together in his too-clean kitchen. Fell asleep on her couch during movie nights. Sent each other midnight voice memos about ideas and fears and what they were having for breakfast. On a Saturday in early fall, they drove to her mama's house for Sunday dinner. Denise was there with Marcus. Her daughter brought her boyfriend. The house smelled like fried chicken and collard greens and peach cobbler. Mama pulled Candace aside in the kitchen. He's good for you. I know. But are you good for you? That's what matters. Candace thought about it. About how she didn't make herself smaller anymore. Didn't apologize for taking up space. Didn't run when things got hard. Yeah, Mama. I think I am. Mama kissed her forehead. Good. Now go get that man some more mac and cheese before Denise's Marcus eats it all. At dinner, Harrison fit right in. Laughed at Denise's stories. Asked Mama about her garden. Held Candace's hand under the table. After everyone left, they sat on Mama's porch. Crickets chirping. Atlanta humid and warm. Your family's great, Harrison said. They like you. You sound surprised. I am. Usually my family's a good judge of character. The fact that they like you means you're probably hiding something. He laughed. Definitely hiding something. What? He pulled a small box from his pocket. Candace's heart stopped. Harrison. Let me finish. He opened the box. A simple gold band. No diamond. Just clean lines and promise. I know it's fast. I know we're still figuring this out. I know you're scared of commitment after 3 marriages. He looked at her. But here's what I also know. You make me better. You make me braver. You make me want to build things that matter instead of things that just make money. Tears were already streaming down her face. I'm not asking you to marry me today. I'm asking you to think about it. To consider the possibility that maybe this time, it's different. Because you're different. And I'm different. And together we're building something real. She stared at the ring. Harrison. Yeah. I'm terrified. I know. I don't know if I can do this. That's okay. What if I mess it up? Then we mess it up together. She looked at him. At this man who'd defended her to investors and the entire internet. Who'd called her the most important person in his life on national television. Who'd believed in her when she didn't believe in herself. Ask me, she whispered. What? Ask me. Properly. He smiled. Got down on one knee on her mama's porch. Candace Hayes. Will you marry me? She thought about husband number 1. The way he'd made her feel too much. Husband number 2. The betrayal. Husband number 3. The slow fade. And then she thought about Harrison. About late-night voice memos and Thai food on her couch and the way he looked at her like she was exactly enough. Yes, she said. Yes, I'll marry you. He slipped the ring on her finger. Stood. Kissed her. Inside, through the window, they could hear Mama on the phone. Denise? You better get back over here. Your sister just got engaged. 1 year later. The wedding was small. Just family and close friends. They got married at a botanical garden in Atlanta. Denise was maid of honor. Harrison's best friend from college was best man. Candace wore ivory. Simple. Elegant. Hers. When they said their vows, she didn't promise forever. She promised today. Tomorrow. One day at a time. I can't promise I won't get scared, she said. I can't promise I won't doubt this sometimes. But I can promise I'll stay. I'll try. I'll choose us even when it's hard. Harrison squeezed her hands. That's all I need. They kissed. Everyone cheered. At the reception, Vanessa sent flowers. The card said, "Congratulations. You got the best version of him." Patricia gave a toast about partnership and messy love and figuring it out as you go. Denise cried through her whole speech. And when Candace and Harrison had their first dance, she whispered, "I can't believe we did this." Did what? Got married. Built a company. Made it work. We're still making it work. Every day. I know. But we're doing it. Yeah. We are. Wellstream hit 2 million subscribers that month. Candace's show was nominated for a Webby Award. She published her first book, Leaving is Not Failing, What 3 Divorces Taught Me About Love. It became a bestseller. In interviews, people asked how she could write about relationships after 3 failed marriages. She always gave the same answer: they weren't failures. They were lessons. And now I get to share what I learned. People asked how she balanced marriage and business partnership with Harrison. We mess it up sometimes, she'd say. We fight about boundaries. We disagree about strategy. But we chose each other. And we keep choosing each other. That's the work. On their first anniversary, Harrison surprised her with a trip to the coast. They sat on the beach at sunset. Any regrets? He asked. She thought about it. About the 3 divorces. About the articles calling her a failure. About the investor who said she was the problem. No, she said. No regrets. Not even the scary parts. Especially not the scary parts. The scary parts were worth it. He kissed her temple. I love you. I love you too. They watched the sun sink into the ocean. The sky turned orange and pink and gold. And Candace Hayes, 3-time divorcee, relationship therapist, best-selling author, co-founder of Wellstream, finally believed what she'd been telling her clients for years. Leaving what doesn't work isn't failure. It's making space for what does. What would you rate this story? Drop 0 to 10 in the comments right now. If this story moved you, hit subscribe for more emotional journeys every week. And if it truly touched your heart, consider leaving a super thanks. Your support helps us create more stories like this. Every contribution, big or small, means the world. Ready for the next story? It's even more dramatic than this one. Click now. Thank you for being part of this journey.